A lot of comfort foods take forever to cook, but not beef stroganoff. It's a quick cooking dish, good for any weeknight dinner. Because this is such a quick cooking dish, it's really important to start with a tender cut of beef. So I'm using sirloin here. You could use sirloin or tenderloin, but something that's not going to take too much time and not toughen up. I have placed my sirloin steaks in the freezer for 30 minutes because with a little bit of chilling, they're more firm and easier to slice. So slice these into thin slices. Once your beef is all sliced nicely, preheat a good-sized pan over medium-high heat. We want the pan to get really, really hot because we want to put this beef in for just a few minutes and yet still get great color. So in our hot preheated pan, now I'm going to add olive oil. Swirl that around. It should move freely, which will show you that the pan is really hot. Now I'm going to add a little butter and then immediately add some of my beef. Swirl that butter, mix it with the oil, but don't let it burn. Before it starts to turn any color brown at all, start adding your beef. Now, very important is not to overcrowd the pan when you do this. If you overcrowd the pan, then you'll have juices start to accumulate in the bottom of the pan, and your beef will stew rather than sear and brown. Also important at this stage is not to season the beef with salt. Salt will draw out the moisture and again inhibit the browning. Resist the temptation to toss and stir the beef a lot. Let it sit on the pan for about a minute, flip it over with a good shake, and then let it continue. Once almost all of the pink of the beef has disappeared, we're going to take this batch out and do any remaining batches that need to be done. Once all your batches of beef are cooked, set them aside and let's get making that sauce. So a little more butter, a little more oil, and now we're going to saute some onions and mushrooms. Now this time I am going to season the mushrooms because that salt will bring the moisture out of the mushrooms, help start building that sauce right off the bat. A little bit of black pepper. And finally, some fresh thyme sprigs. It takes about 4 to 5 minutes for those mushrooms to turn a beautiful brown color and get soft and supple. Toss them around, and now we're going to add another little flavor booster. It's optional, but it does make a difference. A little bit of brandy. Put that brandy in there, it's going to steam and boil right away. The alcohol is going to boil off, but what it's going to do is it's going to help all those alcohol-soluble flavors really blossom. Once that has almost evaporated, we're going to add a little beef stock and bring that just to a simmer. Let those flavors blend for just about 30 seconds. And then we're going to add our beef back into the pan and make sure it's nice and warm. But it hasn't been that long, so the beef is still pretty hot. Any juices that have collected on the plate, you should add those too. Now once you're confident that everything is warm and well blended, we're going to turn the heat off. The reason we're going to turn the heat off is because our next ingredient is sour cream. Now sour cream, if it boils, will curdle, and we don't want that to happen. So turn the heat off, add the sour cream. One way to avoid this would be to use something called crème fraîche, which is actually similar to sour cream. It's soured cream, but it actually can be boiled without separating. I'm also going to add a little touch of Dijon mustard for another little punch of flavor. And we're going to stir this into the mixture slowly, trying just to break up any lumps and really cover all that beef with the sauce. All we have left to do now is season this to taste. So a little spoonful. Some salt. Some more black pepper. And a plate of egg noodles to put the sauce over. Grab some of that beef and mushrooms. Serve out the portion sizes that you want. And then we're gonna spoon that sauce over the whole entire dish. To garnish, a little touch of paprika, and maybe, if you'd like, a little fresh dill. There you have, quick, easy, weeknight dinner, beef stroganoff.